home is fun you can feel.
Better in a bacon bowl. Bacon Bowl cooks bacon to perfection.
For a kid growing up in the early 2000s, the world was weird. Every day was going by fast and you didn't even know it. Days would blur together, and when you're a kid, you want entertainment, fun. So you discover video games. However, you have siblings or cousins or both living under one roof. Now what? Your family is just recovering from one of the worst recessions of the 21st century, and your parents need to find a way to fill your needs, distract you so they have one less problem to worry about. And what better way than to glue your kids to a TV, all able to participate in an activity with little to no fighting. Couch co-op. Nothing beats sitting down next to a friend or sibling and playing through an epic split-screen experience while chowing down on some of your favorite snacks, laughing, and yelling at each other to come revive the other. And as someone who grew up in a family where money couldn't be splurged on luxuries all the time, new video games or even a console was almost unobtainable. The idea seemed far-fetched, but gaming was a big part of my childhood, so I did everything to make most of what little I had. But having to fight over the one controller amongst a mini crowd of kids was just not viable. And that's how it usually went whenever we'd go to my cousin's house, cause my cousins were way ahead of me in the gaming world, so I was always at their house playing on their Super Nintendo, their PlayStation, their Xbox. And the way I'm saying that makes it sound like their family was rich, but really my cousins would just sell their previous console to afford the new one. We're all in the same boat economically, and being that me and my cousin, we'll refer to him as Melman, for obvious reasons, wanted to play at the same time, our main gaming genre revolved around, well, you guessed it, co-op games. Games built around the idea that playing with more than one player will enhance the experience you'll get. Titles like Army of Two, Kane and Lynch, Minecraft, can't forget Minecraft, and Peggle. Well, actually, a funny story, when I got my Xbox 360 and came with some demo arcade games pre-downloaded, and one of them was Peggle. And let me tell you, when I say Melman was addicted to Peggle, I mean he was so enthralled, so captivated, so religious to this game demo, not even the full game. He'd replay the same 8-ish levels that were available to him back to back. Every time he came over to my house, he didn't want to play any other game, which got annoying. I wanted to play Minecraft. I wanted to play Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops. I wanted to play Black Ops Zombies. And what do all these games got? Split screen co-op. And today there really isn't that much split screen going on, which is obvious. There are less people playing on the same console in the same room at the same time, because of the boom in technology and the natural progression of quality of life improvements in the world. Of course, which would lead to more convenient options for people to play with friends and connect with people around the world, and enjoy the same games they have for years to come, all in the comfort of their own home. While for companies, at the same time they increase their profits and incite innovation, which creates a positive feedback loop, or how the gaming market has been of late, you could argue otherwise.
God, riveting gameplay there.
Yes, I know co-op isn't gone and it won't be gone, but it's the split screen aspect that's what I love, what I crave. The in-person connection and relationship you build with the person sitting next to you is what I miss. And this isn't some sort of reject modernity, go back to the Stone Age, it's way better there. Online multiplayer revolutionized gaming, I know, I lived through it like many others, but looking back, I was definitely happier sharing my gaming experience with someone else that was sitting right next to me. I understand I'm looking through some nostalgia goggles at the moment, praising some outdated feature of the past, even though it's still present. You could even say that the fact that I was enjoying split screen when I was a kid, my words mean nothing. Just another person wishing they could go back to the simpler times. However, I like to believe there's more soul, more of a special connection you can form with another person if you can see them. It takes you and that person more effort to play a game together if it's done in split screen. Many of us living lives at variable speeds in different lanes that it can be difficult to slow down at the same time and come together for seemingly just any other game night. For that, it already communicates to each other that both parties want to, or at least are open to, sharing a pleasant experience with one another, diving into a dumb fun party game, or a story-rich campaign. Someone you can bounce off of about the game you're playing, screaming at each other to come revive me, I got ray gun, or check out my house in creative. Or even both of you getting mad and amped up at a campaign cutscene of an enemy curb stomping you. The embodiment of, hey bro, I got your back. I was only recently reminded of those feelings when just a couple months ago when I decided to play through the whole pentalogy of Gears of War for the very first time. I never got around to playing the Gears of War series when I was a kid, except for when I rented Gears of War 3 from Blockbuster that one time. It didn't hold my attention all that much, but that was probably my fault at the time for hopping into a series towards the end. But after going through every game in chronological order, I gotta say, tremendous game series. Mostly tremendous for the original trilogy. The quality of the story kinda tapers off at 4 and 5, or at least the mechanics do. I could go in more detail and maybe in its own video, who knows. Regardless, I brought my sister along for the roller coaster of emotions that is Gears of War. You come to love these characters for what they're worth and the struggles they go through in a world as depressing as it is. But as we played, it brought me back to the age of just play and have fun with a second player. You don't need to really know what's going on in the story if you choose not to, although a well-executed story can go a long way, being able to pull you into the deep end, further investing you in its world, as Gears of War did to us. Inevitably, by the end, first and second player are staring at the credits slowly scroll down. Early 2000 split screen co-op was something else. It made both of you feel joy, laughter, anger, hopeless, but also determined. And all shared with someone else in a brief moment in time, wishing you can go back, rewind the tape, and relive those memories. I guess it could be summed up in the word camaraderie. Playing through a game with a friend by your side in the same space is a journey. You're both learning new concepts, controls, and relatively getting better at the same pace, and building trust with one another, and by the end of that journey, you two have grown together somewhat. And that experience is yours both. I could go play Kane and Lynch online with a buddy and I could have a pleasant experience. And the experience online I have no problem with, but it could be better with split screen. I don't have to worry about latency, terrible mic quality, I can just scream into the person's ear sitting next to me. Or even hacking. Well, unless you count screen peeking as hacking. Ironically for me, online is more inconvenient and also a little anxiety inducing. I remember I queued up for a match of Black Ops 2 Zombies way back when, and these two what sounded like 20-year-olds joined my lobby and said, "Who's this YOLO Ninja 246? I don't know, probably just some kid." To say I was embarrassed was nowhere close to how traumatic the experience was for me. I was already a shy and very introverted child with a fragile self-image. But you know what I did? I kept the name, because I was going to prove that YOLO Ninja 246 was not a little kid. I changed my name. Now don't get me wrong, I have had awesome, great memories and experiences playing online with friends and family. And I know I mentioned that I enjoyed split screen as a kid, but I had my gripes with it as well. It was great for the first time not to worry about the screen getting halved just so player 2 could squeeze in. And even better not to have to strain my teeny tiny baby eyes to see my quarter of the screen in a full 4-player split screen lobby. LAN, you could say, can solve this, or could have solved this, but we were not rich enough to buy a whole nother console and game for one household. I remember begging my dad to get internet, just any kind. I didn't care, I just wanted to experience all the things my cousin Melman was doing. Playing with more than 4 players at a time was incomprehensible to me. I made relationships I would have never made if I wasn't online, especially when I played Minecraft. I remember I saw a kid in the comment section of a Minecraft YouTube video advertising their gamertag, and that they were looking for members to build structures on their world. I friended him, and through that I met one of my best friends on Minecraft that I will never forget. Clone Trooper. On the other hand, I can remember way more pleasant experiences and memories on split screen. Playing Super Smash Bros. On a Nintendo 64 with Melman during a sleepover, then waking up the next day and getting right back to it. Progressively unlocking new guns in Army of 2 and syncing up our shots to save the hostages. Trying to figure out what's the best optimal spot on Terminal to hunker down in on Modern Warfare 3 survival mode. Discovering the Flood for the first time in Halo, then exploring the infested Flood ship. Trying to build an Iron Golem in Minecraft, then having our hopes and dreams crushed. I could go on and on is the basic point I'm trying to make here. Split screen is just so memorable, because there's a person you were there with, and they in turn can reminisce with you and maybe bring up other details of your adventures together you may have forgotten, and by proxy, strengthening your most memorable experiences so they may never be forgotten. I will add that you can do this too while playing online. Reminiscing isn't exclusive to any set thing, but split screen, it just sticks. Something about the 2000s era of gaming where you knew little about the real world and all you had to worry about was saving the world with player 2. It was unmatched, and split screen being that portal that can bring you back in time for just a moment. I guess what I'm trying to say with this whole video rant is that I hold a very special place in my heart for Splitscreen. It's how I started epically gaming, and really I just wanted to gush a little bit about my nostalgia and share my love for Splitscreen and hopefully hear about some of your guys' Splitscreen stories. I love reading about things that I can relate to. Of course, leave a like if you enjoyed, or subscribe. Making this channel bigger will further help me help you in providing more videos. I hope to see you next time in my next hyperfixation.